I got a challenge for you all. Can you actually name a more versatile character? When it comes to versatility, wouldn't you agree that magic people have the crown? Because honestly, Zatanna's one of them, but magic people just seem like they're the most versatile. Everything you think of, they can pretty much do. Impossible. That's what you think of when you think of magic or sorcerers or magic users in general. If you're interested in magic type characters, odds are you probably know about Zatanna. She's literally the living embodiment of magic in every sense of the imagination. Like you're going to see in this video, she has a lot of hacks. Like even if she's fighting a random whale being, she can turn him into his human mode. You can't even shoot her in peace because the bullets that you shoot at her will turn it into flowers. Literal cars go poof, literally into feathers. Can do some Medusa type stuff and turn all these rats into literal stone. She can literally be fighting a giant ice bird that's volatile trying to hurt her. She can literally just say her backwards magic, which I'm going to talk about a lot in this video, of become harmless birds, and it actually works, and they're harmless birds. Bullets, you shoot at her, she can turn them into sponges. Hope you guys aren't getting tired of Zatanna on the channel. She can turn a snake into an apple tree. Yep, DC has their convoluted moments time to time. Good thing they have their own encyclopedia that's kind of sort of ish new, came out in 2021. Where they pretty much explain the stuff we already know, the different eras, the golden age, the silver age, the bronze age, the dark age, you know. You can read all this if you wish, if you want to pause the video if you wish. These different eras, reboots, retcons, there's different versions of characters that we know and love. But when these multiversal events happen, stuff changes. DC even makes jokes about how the universe keeps changing over and over again. It probably will change again even after this guidebook's updated in like a few years. Probably in 2028 or something, it'll probably have a new guidebook to talk about the new retcons and such, you know. Like this picture pretty much describes everything, like the different eras in this one picture. You know, the pre-crisis stuff right here, for example. You guys get the picture. I've talked about Zatanna before, but you guys seem to like it. I thought I would try to find an excuse to talk about her again, talk about some older feats she's done in the past, older comics before the big crisis events. You know, there was different crises and retcons. Just like almost every character, there's a version of a character. Before this big event, Crisis on Infinite Earths, you know, there was a version of Zatanna that existed because we literally seen Zatanna and other magicians here during the Crisis on Infinite Earths events. Oh, let's talk about it, shall we? How strong Zatanna was back in these days. Not the most appearances. Let's get into it though. Like DC's kind of complex. Like there's a whole bunch of different master magicians in this universe, magic users in general. They all vary in different ways on how they use their power and such. This page gives a decent breakdown on the differences. This pretty much describes Zatanna, even though this is a newer modern interpretation. This should apply for her older stuff too. She does a lot of the same stuff like talking backwards and such to do her spells. She doesn't really change that much through retcons, still similar. So it's not really worth differentiating really. Same powers really to the same degree. Backwards magic is like a constant theme with her, right? So don't be surprised if you see pre-crisis and stuff that's after pre-crisis. You know, just like I've said before on the channel, you probably think of a magic user. You probably think of one of the most versatile characters known to man. Well, you would be right because she's technically the mistress of magic. And like you would expect, she's one of the most versatile characters of all time. You got pages like this that kind of give you some more context on why she's so strong. One can argue in DC with enough knowledge and enough studying, you can become a powerful magic being, saying her father and her have studied the sources of magic for years. And there's even implications that they theorize how they're able to do these things, theorize where their power comes from, saying their ability to cast spells and summon demons might be some sort of physical ability to tap power from one of these magical dimensions. And this book indicates our theory might be right. Because at first it was a theory, but it seems to be proven right in this earlier days type of lore. Saying their spells depend on energy from another dimension to give them their power. Because apparently in DC, there are different, apparently magical beings that are born with the innate ability to do magic at will though. Think of Zatanna as a sub-race of magic wielding humans. Like, think of it like this. Like, you know how we can breathe and do senses like smell and hear? Homo mages, magical abilities come from a biological capability on a level with the 5 senses or the metabolic activity or breathing. These abilities transferred to the human race over the years of them breeding with each other. They even theorize that since Superman is completely not from Earth at all, that's why he doesn't have no good resistance to magic, because he has none of these genes whatsoever, because he was never originally on Earth. He doesn't have any ancestors with this potential, possibly. Like even weaker humans technically had ancestors that had magic origins without them even knowing it in their ancestry. To make it simple for Zatanna, she got the best of both worlds in DC Comics. Her mother was a member of a race of natural sorcerers. Her father was a magician in his own right from knowledge and a sometime hero. Their daughter is the amazing woman known as Zatanna. Pretty easy to understand. But with all this magic being said, let's get into how versatile she is though. You're probably thinking what I'm thinking. Oh man, she's not that dangerous. All you gotta do is do something to prevent her from using backwards magic. Yep, somebody thought the same to make something to where she couldn't do backwards magic. You can actually see her do magic just by speaking normally. Yeah, she can still use magic like no matter what really. So yeah, her father was a powerful magician too. She's a magic user, so is it a surprise she can use all the different elements like wind? Like when there's legit fire going on, she can just summon, or one could say create water, make ice to encompass these beings in ice. Element of fire she can summon. You see her with her magic wand too. Of course, in this occasion with Supergirl. Elements like electricity she can blast. Like if you're like in a coma-like trance, she can do the classic electrocute you, blast you with lightning to try to wake you up, to help you out. There's implications that, of course, with her magic, she can do some weather manipulation type stuff to blast lightning down this way with these jets in this particular situation, causing difficulties. Earth manipulation, like literally making the ground become quicksand, like that's what it says backwards, ground become quicksand. She uses the element of mud to be able to tell when somebody's invisible, so you can see the shape of somebody. The cool part is that she can combine certain elements, saying earth and water, wind, flame, putting all the stuff together to make this huge vortex. Like one could say this is a hack, or one could say this could be a form of her destructive power. She could just make giant gaps or holes, like making stuff disappear, saying ground under me disappeared, like that's what she's saying backwards. She's made vehicles disappear. Yeah, where's she sending them to? Another dimension or something? Like just making this stuff disappear makes you wonder, could she do this to any top tier being? When it comes to her physical attributes, she isn't like Superman or a powerhouse or nothing, so it makes sense that she has magic that can allow her to make barriers to protect herself with. Like, we've seen her use barriers. I'm probably going to bring this back up more later on. We've seen her use barriers to protect herself and others. She can make shields to protect herself or others from bullets. She can technically levitate, fly, whatever you want to call it. She can lift herself up with a barrier up while others being in the shield while she's lifting them up. Like you see her using a shield here against a Powerhouse character. On top of the crap I've already told you about her being able to create or manipulate different elements and such, she can make a shield, a flaming shield at that. She's one of those characters you always want on her team because she can amplify your already crazy power like she did to Black Canary here. So this has to be cheating. It literally pays for Zatanna to be cool with good fighters because she can literally use their fighting skills to her advantage. She magically gave herself the abilities of Black Canary, the best judo expert she knew. So it kind of gave her abilities to learn how to fight. Hand-to-hand wise, all she had to do is say, Zatanna become Black Canary. It was so bad that she actually got her personality to the point where she started falling in love with Oliver. Yeah, that's drama. She might be one of the most hacksy characters. You guys already knew this. She literally forced Green Lantern to say his oath backwards, stated here in occasions like this. It was for the purpose of him absorbing her magic. She literally said backwards, get some of my magic power to help out the Green Lantern in this particular situation. She's always there to help empower beings. She can heal your eyes. If a demon is in somebody, she can exorcise them and get them out. If a ghost is in somebody's body, she can make that ghost leave this being they're possessing. Make an invisible book become visible. Saying book appear, that symbol. Telekinesis, where she literally lifts somebody up out the audience. She could be talking on the phone with you and just teleport straight to you. So why does she need flight speed? There's implications she can just do time manipulation or travel back in time. Stating here, back in time 600 years, the magical maiden travels at will. Can slow down the flow of time so she can help a character save something more efficiently. And if she needs more magical help or aid, she can just summon stuff to her like a book to help her out with magic and such. This is kind of cheating. She can kind of summon people like via outside help, can make them help her. All she has to do is say Green Lantern now appear. I guess technically she can summon beings to help her fight. Yeah, summoning people. She created, or one could say summoning a golem of steel to help her fight. She can always call back up, teleport heroes to help her, or just make entities that fight, inanimate objects fight for her. In this particular situation, she wasn't in her right mind. She summoned a demon of fire. Like she can just summon demons to help her fight on just a whim. Like you see in this occasion, this armor she makes come alive to help her fight with a simple gesture. A magic person wouldn't be a magic person without super senses. Like she can sense specific auras and certain things so she can know what to investigate. Like, you know how Raven be having her moments where she be going berserk because of, Trigon's her dad and stuff. She was able to check and she felt evil in her. Like in this occasion with Supergirl, when they're like grabbed by this being, she can shrink to get out of the grip. She can shapeshift, look like different beings. You see like one part half of her and the other parts of the real Zatanna. She can turn inanimate objects into other stuff via molecular manipulations, like turning this gun into gas. Like, it's scary to fight a magic user because you can legit be stronger than them, but strength is kind of irrelevant when you can make the person's clothes they're wearing wrap you up and immobilize you to where you can't move. Your own clothes is your enemy. That's a magic user for you. I mean, she will literally have the trees fight you. I mean, we've seen her restrain beings or monsters with surrounding brick in the area. Or just have the floor trap you. She can create all kinds of stuff with her magic, like creating a flying carpet, or just summon a whole bunch of drills and hammers out of the blue. Create or summon a baseball bat. She doesn't even have to swing it herself. Make a battering ram. If you're with Zatanna and you don't have any weapons to defend yourself with, she can just kind of summon you some weapons up here so you can help defend yourself at least, like a sword and a shield here. That's part of the reason why she can basically imprison you, like seal you up in a container or something. After the big fight is over, seal you in a test tube. This is classic magic stuff, like sealing you in a bottle. She's not letting him have oxygen. She can do the classic astral projection where you separate your spirit from your body. This is something magic people always do. Zatanna can do this to fly distances and such. One could say her soul self, her astral self. She's in spirit mode when she's flying, and she can literally lift up beings in this spirit mode. See, in this particular situation, it's proven she can undo stuff that's done with science, with magic. She'll have to free everyone's mind in the whole world. She woke everybody out of the mind control. There was a time when Zatanna was split into two weaker clones of herself. Like, it was kind of defective because she was just standing there. And it's thanks to these Thanagarians that they was able to put her back together and make her whole again. Yet, it's explained here on how she split herself into two halves, but it weakened her, you know. She can literally split herself into two halves, like her legs and her torso, and then put herself back together like it's no big deal. And if she doesn't want to make solid copies of herself, she can make illusionary copies where it's copies, but they're not really real solid, you know, for trickery purposes, like Loki or some crap. Whew, phew, guys, that was a lot of versatility. Even though she has all this magic versatility, I find it interesting that she can cheat and give herself fighting skills of Black Canary by just simply make myself into a Black Canary. Like, I find that that's cheating when it comes to hand-to-hand combat. To be able to just learn hand-to-hand combat skills that easily. Like I showed you earlier of her using her magic to give herself fighting skills like Black Canary, but even on occasions when she's not doing that, she still knows some judo here and there, like these throws using their weight against them. Beings like Zatanna are not strong in your traditional sense. She's a magic user type character, so it's not like her muscles are the strongest thing walking or stuff like that. She's a walking hex, one could say, but one could say you can get an idea of how strong she is by what her magic can do. The heavy stuff her magic can lift, what's the limits of the weight of what her magic can lift? You know, how destructive can her magic get, or what's her blast power? Stuff like that is how you determine how strong she is, really. It's kind of like how we determine how some fictional characters are by how much they can lift, how hard a character can punch. You can kind of do that stuff for Zatanna. You just got to analyze how hard is her blast and such. Like, we know her magic seems unstoppable, but there has to be some sort of limits. I mean, but yeah, her limits seem pretty much unstoppable so far. But yeah, what can she lift with her telekinesis or her magic or whatever? How much damage can her blast cause? What's her blast power? That's how you determine how strong she is. Like, when it comes to simple stuff like ropes, she can untie herself and others that are tied up by simply saying ropes untie. She can manipulate light stuff like envelopes and open them and stuff. We see her telekinetically put his ring back on him. Like, this kind of stuff is stuff we can do with our own physical muscles. So yeah, her moving these cables with her wand and magic is just nothing too flashy. You can see her in this particular occasion use these rocks to step on. She's just showing off right here. Like, she literally grabs books all the way from Earth and drags them all the way up to the watchtower by using the winds below and winds on high. Bring the books. But when you start lifting up beings in the air, grown men that are at least probably 150 plus or 180 pounds, lifting up with ease, kind of let you know she can lift up heavier stuff. Like, when you can pick up men and spin them around like this is something we cannot do with our own muscles. Like, spinning them around like a helicopter. Like, in this occasion, she uses other elements like water to carry people to safety. We've actually seen her deflect fire attack to pretty much show she can counter stuff with concussive styled force, one could say. Even if we're not talking about telekinesis stuff, she can kind of do other telekinetic type stuff by using the wind. It's kind of doing the same thing, lifting people up or blowing them away. She can just blow you away with wind, literally. I mean, we've seen her manipulate wind to the point where she makes her own destructive whirlwind type of thing. She can blow furniture at you and hit you with furniture. Even when creatures are bigger than her, she can use her water manipulation to kind of smash them together with an attack, basically. Oh yeah, by the way, she can do energy projection type of blast to just concussively destroy stuff. To do your standard thing of just blowing up machines. I mean, we've seen her legit have beam struggles against literal darkness. Other magic type beings she clashes beams with, like Silver Sorceress. They literally say they cast destructive spells at each other. And we literally see them do it. I don't see no reason why she couldn't destroy a thick wall if she can just easily reconstruct this thick thing this easily. Yeah, this should be a no-brainer. Imagine a key being shattered and she comes in clutch to fix it. She was in this steel spear. She can corrode it by saying, like, corrode the steel spear to rust and dust. That's simple. I mean, there's a lot of ways she can make a path for herself, so it's implications she can corrode stuff, acid it down, burn it down with acid, melt it down, make it turn into dust, blah, blah, blah. The petrified waves, they was on a stone area. Zatanna just said water rise, and you can kind of see how much power she can raise up with water being able to rise despite all that mess being petrified. I think we all can agree with her water manipulation. She could blast down concrete or stone walls if she wanted to. She could blast all this up. It would be kind of weird if something like this she couldn't do with her blast power at least. Right, this is child's play for somebody in her tier. She can make all this melt around her. I mean, she can just say ground erupt or explode, and it will. The fact she can make the ground open to the point to where they're scared they're going to fall to their doom, and she must have made a pretty thick crack. I think at cases like this, we can all agree she can move enough rubble to actually level a building. Like, look at all this mess she can cause. Or she has at least enough raw power to level or lift a couple floors of a building. At the very least, right? Being disrespectful, right? Like, I know this is probably hacks, but if, like, she should definitely be able to easily level buildings. If she can just make big old gash or holes just like this, just with the snap of her finger, like all of that. With ease, apparently, right? I think there's clear evidence she could literally level buildings or castles because she can literally make the castle punch you. Like, you see this, these hands, she made this out of the castle itself. What would stop her from making the castle punch something, you know, with big giant avatar hands or something? She can have this fist punch this castle and make it lean, or just make the castle itself make stone fist to punch you with. Oh, yeah, we got this occasion. She weakened this stone tower, like, yeah, and she made it collapse. So this literally proves castles and things of that sort, she should have no issue making fall, tremble, tilt to the side, destroy. You get the idea with her different spells, weakening it to make it fall, whatever you want to look at it like. Destroy buildings, or I would even say she can make buildings or house-sized structures or tombs if she wishes. In her own right, Zatanna's a powerhouse in DC Comics. You can kind of tell by how they always have her facing off against other powerhouses in DC Comics. Like you got occasions like this of her sealing up the entirety of the Teen Titans. There was implications without outside help. These Titans down here, powerhouses, wasn't going to break out if it wasn't for outside help. All these beings aren't like Superman. Superman's kind of like a weakling when it comes to magic. So all these people, Starfire is strong. Flash level being is strong. Beast Boy and such. Like, yeah, Zatanna's spells can contain beings like this. Martian Manhunter, somebody we can all agree that's a Superman-centric type character. No matter how you look at him, we can see him on this particular situation get hit away by this creature. Zatanna's able to make, this magic beings I've been going over the whole time, was able to make an ice elemental shield, condensing it to where she would protect everybody from this being that just hit back Martian the Manhunter. And you can see it literally holding back this being that was this strong. So this kind of proves that she's up there with the powerhouses just off gate. This kind of proves her power is like, there was like these shatterproof tubes. Powerhouse is like Wonder Woman. You guys already know how strong she is. Check out my Wonder Woman videos. Yep. But the fact that Zatanna was a helpful aid in weakening her tubes so Wonder Woman can break out lets you know the right intent on where her power bracket is supposed to be, really. You know, Wonder Woman is the same being that can do crazy stuff like help move the earth, planetoids like the moon. And she couldn't get out of this stuff without Zatanna and a couple other members' help. You know, Zatanna's magic help weaken stuff like that. Her being helpful in getting Wonder Woman free should kind of prove how strong she is. You know how DC powerhouses are easily planet busters. This should pretty much prove she's a planet buster. But if you need more evidence, this sorcerer, Zatanna, can blast away planets with her energy projectile magic blast power. This game right here pretty much proves how much raw energy she can produce on the spot. Like, okay, you know, there was the situation where they needed a lot of light. Zatanna created her own amount of sunlight with her backwards magic. It's even stated here. She just says, give us the power we need. And she focused this beam, all this light. Like, you know how we have the sun gives every planet light in our solar system, right? She literally gave a year's worth of sunlight in a single second. Like, Zatanna blasted a year's worth of sunlight in a single second, guys. Shout out to this YouTuber right quick. He kind of lets you know how much energy the sun gives off. This kind of gives you a perspective of Zatanna, the explanation on how much energy the sun gives off, or sunlight it gives off in a single second. The sun gives off this energy in a single second, enough more power than millions of nuclear bombs. That lets you know how much energy Zatanna can blast with. And she did a year's worth, not just one single second. So she's obviously way more than just simply nuclear bomb or millions of nuclear bomb level, really. The energy the sun gives off in a single second is more powerful than things that can blow away cities, nuclear bombs. So that pretty much proves, as a bare minimum, being disrespectful, Zatanna can blow away cities with her blast power, the energy she can just generate out of the blue. But here's the thing. The sun can produce way more force than nuclear bombs just in 1 second. What would a year's worth do? And Zatanna produced a year's worth of sunlight. A second worth of sunlight is already way worse than nuclear bombs. She did a year's worth, guys. A single second. She produced a year's worth of sunlight in a single second. Stated here. The sun gives off nuclear bomb levels of power every second, guys. She did a year's worth in a single second. This is kind of scary to think about, that she was able to produce a year's worth when we know what the sun produces in every second. She's able to produce so many times much more energy than nuclear bombs. It's not even funny, guys, to where she could just wipe out the entire country with the amount of energy she can just put out on the spot. This basically proves she can produce enough energy to easily level planetoids like the Earth, planetoids like the moon. She can tremble, delete Earth, and even bigger planets based on the energy she can produce on the spot, creating a year's worth of energy in a single second. Even larger planets like Jupiter will fall. I mean, just put this in perspective. 1 second the sun produces is equal to millions of nuclear bombs, guys. Zatanna produced a year's worth of sunlight in a single second, guys. A year's worth in one blast. 1 year is 30 million plus seconds, guys. And she produced a year's worth of solar energy in a single second. This basically means the amount of blast power she produced was 30 million times the amount of 1 million nuclear bombs. You do the freaking math on how much blast power she would have had to produce in a single second. Let that sink in. Yeah, her blast power would easily cause devastation to the planet. That's obvious at this point. I would honestly be shocked if she couldn't devastate the sun, based on feats like this are pretty much low tier when it comes to powerhouses of DC, especially in my previous video I made about Zatanna, which you should watch after this because I'm not going to repeat all those feats again. There's implications she could tear the universe apart herself, and when you see feats like this, it kind of does make sense with the lore. You guys like the Zatanna content? Let me know. She can not only use elemental attacks, but the elemental attacks she uses, like magical fire, for example, like it's literally actually fire, but magical, so it actually messes with Kryptonians. She's a perfect counter against Kryptonians. Who else do you know that can make Superman vulnerable enough to where they can actually take blood because of his vulnerability to magic? She got some decent combat speed, not like Flash or nothing, but she can react to arrows coming at her by making her own shield. Yeah, but the super android Amazo with Flash's speed can blitz her though. It's one of them situations. Why does she need speed when she could just teleport? But of course she can fly at decent speed though still. Like in this occasion when the heroes were flying away, they talk about narration 3 separate sonic booms, implying Zatanna's one of the sonic booms when she's flying at super speed. Like, I don't want to make too many assumptions, but I'm pretty sure she can go way faster than just the speed of sound. I mean, these characters, Zatanna included, be flying to these different parts of the world like it's nothing, with just flight speed. But you can get an idea of her strength when all these sorcerers are working together. She's one of the many sorcerers to help Spectre in this particular occasion with the anti-monitor. She's actually worth the help. This can kind of give you some implications. She's way above planet shattering. She's not strong in your conventional sense, but her blast power, she can hit hard because of the concussive force of her different elements she can blast you with, causing crazy destruction, even on a planetary or way above that scale. Zatanna was epic, especially in these older days. But before I get going, everybody, she has absurd power, but thanks for the donations, everybody. It helps out a lot. Respect the Zatanna, though. Is she your favorite magic user? Let me know in the comments. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.